If there are a few things that you can expect from this channel, it's the occasionally cringy line delivery, vague references to alcohol, and yes, showcasing another Italian watch. Except today, we're skipping the rum and whiskey. This is the Ichnos Diporto. At first glance, it's a very cool looking watch with a lot of pleasing design choices, but what really elevates it beyond expectations isn't just what you see, it's what's going on inside. Let's get the numbers out of the way because specs are where expectations are either set or quietly subverted. The case is 316L stainless steel, which means durable, corrosion resistant, and legally required at this point if you want to be taken seriously. Diameter comes in at 36 millimeters. Yes, 36, calm down. That's not small, that's intentional. Watches used to fit wrists before we all decided everything needed to look like gym equipment. Lug to lug is 46 millimeters, which fits my 6¼ inch wrist, which is doing a lot of quiet work here. On the wrist, it balances the small diameter and keeps the watch from looking like a borrowed proportion from a dress watch museum exhibit. Case thickness, excluding the dome glass, is just 7 millimeters. That's thin. Not marketing thin, not technically thin if you squint, but actually thin. Lug width here is 20 millimeters because thankfully no one tried to reinvent the wheel here or force you to use some proprietary strap ecosystem just to feel special. But they kinda did that too in a roundabout way, but we'll get to that later. The Diporto has a screw-down crown, functional, secure, and unpretentious. Inside sits an ETA Peso 7001 Elabor, if I was able to pronounce that correctly. It's a manual wind movement with a 42-hour power reserve. It's reliable, no nonsense, exactly what it needs to be, and thin. Ichnos sent us 2 pairs of leather straps, this one being a gorgeous branded leather strap from the Costier line, and another one with fitted end links and Saffiano leather. This feels a lot more elegant than the branded version, but it is equally intentional. When a brand homogenizes components so straps can work across multiple models, that's the kind of thoughtful design that you notice. These are the details that separate a watch from just being a wearable watch to an enjoyable one. The fitted end links aren't just cool, they're also convenient, featuring twin-lever quick-release spring bars. You can swap them in seconds without any tools, and they even have these tabs to carefully guide you during installation. On top of that, the straps have this soft velvety blue lining which immediately elevates them above your typical leather. It's thoughtful touches like these that make you realize that the brand cared for more than just the watch and aesthetics, but also the straps. Now speaking about caring for your straps, it's time to care about the ones not just on your wrist, but also on your waist. And that's where Anson Belt and Buckle comes in. Let me tell you about this wonderful company. The Anson Belt is a family-owned company since 2009, and they have been producing some of the most amazing belts that you'll ever find. And this is what they sent us. They have some really good quality belts, as you can see from the graining, from the finishing. They're also giving us a number of these buckles that you can choose from. They are very easy to use. As you can see here, you can just slap on one of these buckles and clip it, and there you go, you're ready to go. But the whole claim to fame of Anson belts is not just the quality of their belts and buckles, but their micro-adjust system right underneath their straps. And because they have this whole 1/4-inch ratcheting mechanism, you don't see any holes on their straps, which keeps it super clean, super elegant. This is really nice and easy to use. Unexpected crotch shot time. If you need to discreetly adjust this belt, all you need to do is pull on the lever and adjust the strap without pulling it all together. Anson Belt has been around for many years and they've gathered over 40,000 5-star reviews online. They're super competent with their service and they're backing it up with a lifetime guarantee when it comes to the functionality of these belts and buckles. But let me tell you this, if that's not enough, if you click on the link below or scan the QR code that you see on the screen right now, you'll get 2 bonus pieces, a buckle and a strap together with your order. That's 3 different belts, 3 different buckles for a total of 9 different unique combinations of belts and buckles. And that is the Anson belt and buckle with micro-adjust technology. And thank you so much to Anson for sponsoring this video. This end link mimics the teakwood flooring that you'd find on a speedboat or yacht. It's a cool detail that gives this watch a distinct identity without crossing into the Gaston-themed Invicta diaper territory. This is metal and leather texturing done right. But if you really buy into what Ichnos is offering, you have to go for the full vintage bracelet. Staying with the seafaring theme, the hollowed out structures feel straight out of the throttle and body details of boats and yachts. It's purposeful, mechanical, and it ties the whole design together without trying too hard. Hoyer and Zenith practically made a living with this type of bracelet, and it triggers a certain nostalgia, especially for those whose age has long outpaced the monthly calendar. It has real charm and it's genuinely comfortable too, with that gorgeous curve flowing naturally from the case onto your wrist. Underneath, you've got quick release spring bars, and you can even catch a glimpse of some alternative texturing here, the bead blasted underbelly of the links. It's a small detail, but it adds depth. And despite this being a solid bracelet, Ichnos included half links, which is very practical. They clearly understand that most wrists live awkwardly between sizes, and this makes getting a proper fit far less frustrating. And if that's still not enough, there's also a micro adjust mechanism, because what is a tool watch without one, right? The clasp is long, oyster style, and gives you plenty of adjustment range, so dialing in the fit is more about preference than compromise. Of course, with that much real estate on the deployment, Ichnos made sure that branding is right where it should be. If there's ever a rare common ground between marketing and finance, it's this: you never skip branding on the clasp. But finance threw a bone to the engineers with the proper screw pins holding the links together. They're vintage style, but thankfully not vintage manufacturing. They even threw in a screwdriver, but a word of caution, you actually need two of these to unscrew both sides of the link screw pins. From a distance, the Diporto looks like a love letter to the good old days. Familiar sizing, vintage flair, a solid assortment of accessories, and even some packaging that actually feels a bit luxurious. But as we zoom in on the dial, things get a little more interesting. As many of you may know, microbrands tend to have those familiar case and bracelets and then be a little bit more creative when it comes to the dial. But here, the brand mixes it up as they also added some gorgeous details on the case, as you can see here with the champagne that flanks the rather small crown. They also applied this underneath the case, framing this curvaceous brush side. I love these parallel lines that really mimics the grille details of cars and boats back in the 70s and 80s. That detail really pairs well with these raw perforated details on the metal bracelet. The manufacturing of this bracelet is really good. It's really tight. There's no sideways wiggle to the bracelet, although you are sacrificing a lot of articulation because of these very long structures of the link. Speaking of long, this is one of the longest clasps I've ever handled, although there's some really nice etching on the surface here. Under the hood, though, you could see the half links and also the micro adjust mechanism. It really helps with the sizing opportunities, and I'm really happy that Ichnos included that. Now let's go back to the dial and let's highlight what Ichnos is doing here. It's a really deep structure and it's a little bit more complicated than it seems. Not only did they not use your typical metal press hands, but they also added this polished cap on the center. As you turn the watch, you could really see how light traces it. It's beautiful to see, and it really captures that instrument style design that they're going for here. I like that there's a lot of white space on the dial with nothing more than black prints embellishing it. It doesn't really have to do or say much because it has this quiet and confident Italian way of doing things. And that's because much of the talking is happening around that dial, as you can see with these concentric circles that's carved on a curve index structure. I don't think I've ever seen this kind of detail before, and it's a real treat up close. And at a distance, it's pretty to look at, which really sets this Diporto apart from other microbrands. And as if that wasn't enough, there's this little gimmick of loom hidden underneath the index structure, outlining the entire inner dial. It's completely unnecessary and somehow completely charming. It's the proverbial cherry on top of the Italian cake, served with just a hint of wine and romance. That's 9 minutes of excellent Italian styling. Now, here are a couple of minutes that might send you looking elsewhere. The biggest one is the price. At 1900 euros or about $2,200, this is a microbrand territory at hard mode or hard pass depending on who you ask. I know this because I've sold a microbrand at this level and I don't need to tell you it's tough. You're knocking on the door of Longines and Tudor money here, and that's a very crowded hallway. Another point, the lug length. For some wrists, this might be a stretch. On mine, it just managed to grab enough flesh to make it work, and that's being generous. And finally, the bracelet. It's a bit of a double edged sword. For the right person, it's exactly the point. For everyone else, it might immediately trigger the phrase, yeah, it's not for me. I mentioned earlier that this feels like a slightly elevated watch, largely because of what's going on inside. Powering it is indeed a Swiss hand-wound movement, and it's actually quite well decorated at that, even if it spends most of its life tucked under the hood. What's even more discreet and actually impressive is that Ichnos assembles and tests these watches in-house. That's rare territory right there, putting them alongside the brands like Nomadic Notice and some of the higher-end Venezianico pieces. Now, is that good enough to justify adding another grand in the price? I'll leave that up to you. After all, we live in an age where digital art sells at auction for 65 followed by 6 zeros dollars. Here, the Italians are simply offering you a very tangible piece of maritime flair meant for a discerning wrist and an equally discerning eye. Because sometimes the good stuff isn't really meant to be seen, it's merely meant to be known.